What is going on, Gridiron fans? I am the Gridiron Guy, and this is my mock draft madness. Okay, so really quick, this is the draftnetwork.com's draft site. This is their order on what they project will be the finishing of the season based on this week right now. So, don't send me any comments about the draft order or anything like that. It's just, that's how they have it set up. Let's just have fun with it. Let's just go with it. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. If you enjoy this video, give me a thumbs up. Click that little bell notification button so you can get notifications when I upload future videos. So with all that being said, let's get started. Okay. If the Jets are on the clock, number one, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Probably every time, unless they say it's not going to be, then it still probably will be. So, Trevor Lawrence. And as long as the Jags are sitting here at number 2, which most likely that's the way it'll finish, it'll be Justin Fields. So, now we got Washington football team. They have a loaded quarterback room already. So, I don't know if they would take a tackle or if they would take a quarterback. But for the sake of argument, I'm going to say they take Trey Lance. Let's say they take Trey Lance. It's very possible. I think they are going to take Patrick Surtain the second. I think they need so much help. They can even pair him with Diggs, who they just drafted this year. Moving forward, they could have a really good cornerback tandem. So, here we are with the Chargers. Chargers don't need a quarterback. In fact, Justin Herbert's playing amazing. So, why don't they go out and protect him and get him a guy like Penei Sewell? Penei Sewell, number 5 overall. Okay, the Dolphins. The pick that I love for the Dolphins in every draft so far is Jamar Chase. With Jamar Chase, Tua will have a prime time weapon to throw to. So, with Penei Sewell off the table, with Jamar Chase off the table, the Bengals could take edge here, but the phone starts ringing. And I think this is where we're going to have a trade. Okay? The Bengals need draft capital. They need to move down. They can get an offensive tackle somewhere in the middle of the round, or a wide receiver, or even an edge guy. There's a couple of edge guys still on the board. So, there is a team that would be willing to move up to this pick for a specific reason. And that team is the New England Patriots. Okay, so we have the Giants, the Panthers, the Falcons, the Niners, possibly even the Lions, and definitely the Vikings may all be looking for a quarterback. All of these teams may take a quarterback. There's a chance. So, the Patriots are going to say, this whole Cam Newton thing is not working out. Why don't we go out and get a first-round quarterback and get our guy of the future so we can have another 20-year dynasty? The Bengals receive a first-round 15th overall pick, as well as a second-round 47th overall pick, and the Patriots receive the 7th overall pick. So now the Bengals slide down and they pick up a second-round pick. This is huge for a team that is doing some pretty good things and now can do some more good things with a first round pick in 2 seconds this year. So, who do you think they are going to go after? It is one Zach Wilson. The future of the Patriots is Zach Wilson. So, that kind of forces the hand of some of these next teams. Let's see what happens here. So, Gregory Rousseau, the best edge rusher in this class. He's the easy number 1 pick at edge rusher. So, the Panthers, they're not taking a quarterback now. They're going to have to stick with Teddy Bridgewater. Or they pick up one of these other quarterbacks that's going to get dumped, like possibly Haskins, possibly Sam Darnold. Maybe they pick up one of these guys. So, Micah Parsons is their Luke Kuechly replacement. They finally get a middle linebacker to go with all those defensive draft picks they took last year. Okay, now we're looking at the Falcons. Falcons are in a good spot to take a quarterback still. There's Mac Jones, there's Kyle Trask. I think when it's all said and done, Zach Wilson and Kyle Trask will definitely get themselves into the first round. Definitely. Especially with the other 3 probably going pretty high. Zach Wilson and Kyle Trask will find themselves in this first round. Kyle Trask to the Falcons. Okay. Now we're finally looking at something else here. The Broncos. I think the Broncos take Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley to the Broncos. I just think he's a good scheme fit. I think he's a perfect scheme fit for what they like to do there. Okay. Now, the Niners. The Niners have this Garoppolo issue. They owe him all this money. Mullins, I guess, isn't terrible if they feel like tanking next year. Get rid of Garoppolo, go in Mullins, see what happens. If not, they could always trade for a guy like Sam Darnold. Maybe they trade this pick for Sam Darnold. Or, trading a first-round pick for Sam Darnold is just nuts. They'd probably probably trade their third-round pick for him. Whatever. And then maybe they don't need a quarterback for this round. So, what I think they do need is a guy like Wyatt Davis. That guy will really help anchor that offensive line. That defensive line is amazing. San Francisco just had the unfortunate luck of having so many injuries, mostly on the defensive side of the football this year, or they probably would be a top 5, top 8, top 10 team in the NFL. Hands down. Okay. So now we're looking at the Lions on the clock. Defensive line, I don't know about that. We are looking at wide receiver. Could definitely be an option. Yeah, I'm going to go Jalen Waddle right here. You got Marvin Jones getting old. You never know if Galladay's going to, if he's even going to resign. Get Matthew Stafford a weapon. Maybe even Matthew Stafford's not your future quarterback. Who knows? Who knows in Detroit? Things are going to get so crazy in Detroit probably this offseason. I think Matt Patricia's going to get fired. It's going to be crazy. With not many options at quarterback for the Vikings, for teams like the Vikings, the Bears coming up, even the Colts down the line a little bit, things are just now looking good at quarterback. The Colts could take a quarterback at 23, but these other two teams, they just might have to wait another year unless they're making big moves to jump up and get somebody. The Patriots took that away from them, so I think they're gonna go with a guy like Samuel Cosmi. I think they need to worry about offensive line if it's not a quarterback or some defensive depth. All right, so now the Bengals are on the clock after the trade. They traded down. So, who do you think? Who are we gonna take here? I like Jalen Mayfield. The Bengals took an offensive tackle 2 years ago in Jonah Williams. So, just continue that. You got your quarterback now. You have a pretty damn good wide receiving core. So now just start building that offensive line. Just start getting him some pieces in front of him to protect him. Maybe even use the first two picks on it. You got 2 second-round picks now, so now you can double up on offensive linemen and get some more defensive help. So that's why I think the Bengals would do well by trading down. They can still get a tackle. They can still get a guard in the second round or a center. And then they can still get, a good safety, a good corner, possibly an edge rusher, defensive line. They can get any of those in the second round. All right. The Bears are on the clock. I think that offensive line isn't the greatest. So I think they're going to take a guy like Christian Dursaw. It's a run on tackles right here in the middle, which is good for some of these other teams who don't need quarterback or offensive line because guys are just falling into their lap, like Kwity Paye falling to the Browns. I mean, that's huge for them. They get an edge rusher now to go with Myles Garrett. So now we have the Titans on the clock. The Titans might be looking for a guy to replace Jurrell Casey. Maybe not replace Jurrell Casey, but to fill that role of being a dominant interior lineman. He's pretty much built just like Jurrell Casey. So that's the pick. Interior defensive lineman. First one off the board. Okay. Linebacker, safety, corner. I think in this scenario, it's got to be I think they go Shaun Wade out of Ohio State. He fits better there. Shaun Wade can play some nickel. He'd just be a perfect fit. Now we're looking at the Cardinals, who are having a great season. Great season. I think they're going to go with a guy like Dylan Moses. Good time for him to go. Jets back on the clock. With that pick that they sent to Seattle falling, it was up there by the 30s, but now it's at 21. A guy like Devonta Smith is now available to them, where normally Devonta Smith would already be gone. This is a good wide receiver class. It's not as great as it was last year, but it's still pretty good. It's at the top. It is very good. it's kind of a matter between Creed Humphrey or Trey Smith. You almost can't go wrong. Even a guy like Alex Leatherwood, who was Tua's offensive tackle in college, you know. But I'm going to go Creed Humphrey. He could play either the center or guard positions, so day one starter right away. Colts on the board. I think the Colts do go quarterback, and they take Mac Jones. I think all of these quarterbacks, I think when it's all said and done, there will be 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. I just think it's possible. I really think it's possible. Especially if the first 5 go in the top 15, top 18. I think that leaves room for Mac Jones to slide in somewhere in the bottom 10. Okay. I think a guy like Quincy Roche goes right here, and it's just perfect. It's just a perfect fit for him. It's always good when good defensive players go to the Ravens because you know they're going to excel. Just right away, you just know they're going to excel. Okay. Jags got their quarterback in Justin Fields. Now, I just want to say real quick that Justin Fields, I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback. He is great in college. We've seen lots of quarterbacks be great in college. But I don't think Justin Fields is going to be a great NFL quarterback. I've watched some of his tape, and I see that he does not make multiple reads. I've watched this time and time again. He will stare down a receiver, and even if it's double coverage, he throws it. And then whenever he does complete a pass, his guys are wide open. And it's not like they're going against, nobodies. I mean, they're playing teams like Michigan, Wisconsin, going against good caliber defenses, Penn State. And these guys are wide open. Why? Because he has NFL-type receivers to throw to. When is the last time an Ohio State quarterback went on to have a great NFL career? I'm waiting. I just don't. I'm not very high on Justin Fields. You will see me skip over him sometimes and go with Trey Lance because I think Trey Lance is way more pro-ready than Justin Fields. So, call me crazy, but that's how I feel about it. The Raiders do need interior offensive line. Gabe Jackson's going to be 30. Rodney Hudson's 31. Richie Incognito's like 38. Got to keep that offensive line young so that you can run the ball well with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is your workhorse back. You got to be able to run the football. So, as banged up as they've been on the offensive line this year, I think a guy like Trey Smith would just solidify something. He could be that 6th guy for a little while until Richie Incognito retires or Gabe Jackson, they let him go, or Rodney Hudson retires. Maybe they can even bounce him outside to right tackle when Trent Brown, does whatever the heck he figures out. He's irritating. Anyway, let's move on. So, I think it's pretty simple. The Buccaneers go out and they get edge rusher, Aiden Hutchinson. All right. Buffalo Bills. I think they go with a guy like Paulson Adebo. That's a solid pick for them. All right. I keep saying this, and it still irritates me that they did not go out and get him a wide receiver. Guy's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Aaron Rodgers, and you can't even get him a first round talent wide receiver. Watching him throw to some of these receivers is ridiculous. He has to yell at them all the time because they screw up a lot. Other than Devonta Adams, Devonta Adams is next level. He is elite. He is top 5. And these other guys, like, might as well be on a practice squad. They don't pay attention. They're not focused when they're in the games. Alan Lazard's pretty good, but he's been injured, so it does you no good. All right. Sorry, small rant. All right, moving on. I think the Chiefs need offensive line. They need to build for the future. Dylan Raduns is the guy. So the Saints are looking for a couple things. They might be looking for their quarterback in the future. If so, this is the perfect spot. If there wasn't already 6 quarterbacks taken. So this would be a good spot for them to snag a quarterback. Linebackers, it's not really. I mean, Cameron McGrone is here, but there are so many other things, so many other players you could take. Asante Samuel Jr., Tyson Campbell's up here. So I don't know if I would take those players over. I don't think I would take McGrone over some of those guys. Wide receiver, they might need a wide receiver if this whole Michael Thomas thing doesn't work out. But anyway, I think they're gonna go with a guy like Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell, good cornerback. Now Marshawn Lattimore on the other side. Good to go. Now, this would be another spot where a possible quarterback could go. Or maybe this team, the Steelers or the Saints, some of these teams that need a quarterback for the future, maybe they're looking at Sam Darnold. Maybe they could bring in Haskins if they even like either of those two guys. If not, Haskins, Darnold probably goes somewhere where, maybe the Colts, maybe the Niners, a team that misses out on some of these top-tier quarterbacks, but they're in a bad spot to pick. So I honestly think at this point, Steelers just need to go offensive line. And I think they take Josh Myers. I think if they go offensive line and take Josh Myers, they can't go wrong because that offensive line is getting a little old. Whoever the quarterback of the future is going to need a couple of younger offensive linemen in front of him that he can grow with and trust on. So, did you enjoy my mock draft? If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Leave me comments in the comment section below. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Whatever. Did you like this pick, that pick? Did you hate this pick? What was I thinking here? Whatever. So, I am the Gridiron Guy, and I am out.